Hello. Hello, guys. How's everyone doing this evening? Let's talk. I am Juju. I'm your host, coming to you live from my living room. Trying on a new setup, a new spot in the house, seeing how this is gonna work for me tonight. Um, Good evening, guys. Mr. Jackson, I was a little late, but I'm here. I am here. So come on in, guys. Come on in. And as you come in, please like and share the video. As you come in, please like and share the video. Let me know that you're on the air with me. Tag a friend, let them know that Juju is on the air this evening. So come on in, guys. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Uh, the time has changed on us. We sprang forward. I must admit, this is my time of the year. I'm an outdoors person, so I like to be outdoors. And so I get a longer time to stay outdoors. That's one reason. But I think the main reason is because I travel to work. I travel to work every day. And so usually the time when we have daylight savings time, I am on the road in the dark. And so like this, it's not dark, it's not nighttime, so I can come on in here. And let me see. Oh, the Mr. Jackson is saying, where am I? Because it's not showing that I'm live. Hey, Jackson!
Whatever.
Hello!
How are you?
I am awesome. I am great. I am fantastic. I'm so glad you're here with me today.
Well,
I
I was
tried
so,
something different and it worked. Yay!
so
It,
you know it was not me.
it was it was not you, but I had to do something different to bring you on, which just so long as it worked, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't have to do it to
It
bring
gets
it
better.
to
It gets better. Mhm.
hallelujah.
Yes.
I'm so glad my friend is here. I can do it by myself, but two is always better when we have two together. So
True.
it's going to be a great night. I can already tell. So come on in, guys. And as you come in, please like and share this video, tag a friend, and tell them that Juju is on the air and tell them that Mr. Jackson is on with her tonight. And we're just going to have a fabulous time. Hello, Minister Clark. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. So, anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about. Well, first of all, I am Juju. I'm your host, and I got with me Mr. Jackson, my producer and co-host. I'm over the moon, and about 2 weeks ago, I guess it's been 2 weeks ago. Um, our president, the president of these United States, Donald Trump, gave his State of the Union address. And so tonight, we want to take a look at our country and see what you think. He told you what he thought the State of the Union was. And so we want to talk tonight about what you think the state of our union is. And see, do we have the same opinion of everything? Because, Donald Trump said everything was lovely and moving in the right direction. Are we in agreement with him? Okay. So America has Americans have mixed views of the current state of our country. While many express concerns over the economy, inflation, immigration, there are also significant divisions in how these issues are perceived between the different political parties. The economy is seen as a major concern, with many Americans feeling the cost of living is too high. However, there's a notable divide in how Republicans and Democrats view the economy, with Republicans generally expressing a more positive sentiment. The political climate has also influenced public opinion, with many Americans feeling a sense of uncertainty and division. And the recent political violence and social discord has contributed to a more negative outlook on the country's direction. Despite these concerns, there's a sense of hopefulness among some Americans, particularly those who voted for Donald Trump. Overall, the current state of the country is characterized by a mix of economic anxiety, political polarization, and a general sense of uncertainty. So, our icebreaker for tonight: what do you think of the current state of our union? Are you better off now than you were last year this time? So, that's our icebreaker. What do you think, guys, about the current state of our union? Are you better off now than you were last year this time? Mr. Jackson, you want to tackle that question?
Oh, absolutely. First, good evening to everybody. It's so good to be back with my co-host again. Thank you so much for getting it right. Whatever you did, I applaud you. Thank you so very much. And in reference to the icebreaker, please, if you're out there, go ahead and place your um, responses in the chat. But as far as um, the question, as Juju said, what do you think of the current state of our union? Are you better off now than you were last year at this time? Psychologically, I am not better off because every day I awaken to something and it increases my anxiety because of some type of transaction that's transpired, whether it's the wars, the increased amount of wars, the rising prices. When I go into the grocery store, I cringe every time because the amount of money that I am spending to survive is absolutely preposterous. The food, the FDA is in bad shape. We don't know what we're eating anymore. The food, the meat, we don't know the synthetic eggs, just a whole lot of bad food in the market. We don't have the quality of homes anymore because we don't have anybody to build it. Gas prices have soared out of the roof because here again, we're back at a conflict in foreign wars. Um, Taxes are astronomical. Housing costs are still going up higher and higher. Although we've had a decrease in the APR, where we had a decrease, and our government is too overarching and overreaching into everything that the states and the local governments should be doing. They're trying to suppress voters, registration. We've just seen a whole lot, and with ICE, and I can just go on and on. But the answer to your question, I do not feel like I'm better off than I was last year, and it's progressively getting worse. So I will take a look in the chat and
Okay.
see what we have. I see and welcome Minister Clark. Worse off is what she said. Thank you, Tiffany, for joining us. Tiffany Williams says that we are worse off. And based upon some statistical data that we have, of course, um, in looking at some of the statistical data, um, we most of the Americans, and the approval rating has not changed. As a matter of fact, I believe it has gone down to 2 percentage points, and the disapproval has continued to rise. And I know that you'll share that with us. Um, about 7 in 10 Americans think that at least one economic issue is a top priority for the
Okay.
government. And that includes what I said, rising cost of living struggles, personal financial insecurities, and job stability concerns.
Okay.
We know that there has been a huge influx of job loss in our country, and the majority Black women,
Mm-hmm.
because and now where they're just backtracking, trying to offer up all types of excuses for all of the um, idiosyncrasies that's happening in the government. We don't have enough people to man our government to do the same thing. In education, we've got people who are heading these organizations that are not qualified, and we saw Christy Nome being reassigned, although um, they tried to make it as if she was fired, but she was fired and then reassigned for a myriad of reasons. And then the same person that she was allegedly having an affair with, he stepped down, and they both have been reassigned. And the gentleman that was reassigned to her position has no qualifications whatsoever to
Okay.
be leading Homeland Security. So no, I am not better off than I was last year.
All right, so guys, Mr. Jackson is not better off, and it seems like most of us have that same opinion. And I heard Mr. Jackson say initially that one of the main reasons that he doesn't feel like he's better off is because of the anxiety and the mental stress that this administration places on us every day. But anyway, Americans are currently most concerned about the economy. That's what the statistics say, but that's not my biggest concern. But anyway, with inflation and affordability of healthcare being top issues, the cost of living is also a significant concern, with taxes and the economy being major worries for voters. Healthcare is another area of concern, with disruption of federal government services and the state of democracy of the U.S. also being top worries. Overall, the economy, healthcare, and government services are the most pressing issues facing the country right now. And as Mr. Jackson had said, the current government approval rating for 2026 is as follows. 12% of people approve of the government as a whole and how it's functioning, how it is serving them. 69% disapprove of the government overall and how it is impacting them. And that is a net negative 57% approval rate for the government. These rates reflect the public sentiment toward the government's performance. And so, anyway, um, and there are many reasons why people have such low opinions of the government. And like I said, there are different things that concern different individuals. And so, my first question is, what issues facing the nation are most important to you? What issues facing the nation are most important to you? Is it the economy? Is it immigration? Is it the way immigration is being handled, the ICE raids and the Homeland Security and all of that? Is it the foreign wars, realizing that we are now at war with Iran? We attacked Venezuela. We're talking about attacking Cuba. And that is just a few. Is it the inflation? Is it the democracy? Is it the fact that the executive branch is trying to accumulate as much power, consolidate as much power as possible, stripping away powers from the people, from the press, from the Congress, from the courts? It is doing everything it can do to consolidate power into that one branch. Is that your issue? Is it the attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion? Is it the Epstein files and the uncertainty or the certainty that we have about what's in those files, or is it something else? What is your top? And for me, I have to say, personally, for me, it's the democracy issue. Although I'm very concerned, but I think it goes hand in hand with the impact that militarizing and the kind of police state that Homeland Security has created in certain cities, realizing that their ultimate goal is to do that to the nation at whole as a whole, to put fear into the hearts and the minds of the people so that they will not stand up against them as they attempt to consolidate power in that executive branch. So, and I'm really concerned about, the ICE raids and the things, and not just the raids, but the taking over of cities, like Mr. Jackson said, um, things that cities and localities and states are supposed to be running, even with our elections. Um, take the seizing of ballots, trying to take over elections and trying to say in certain states, mostly blue leaning states, that the elections are not being run properly, or perhaps there is some corruption which does not exist, so that the federal government can come in and federalize the elections and thereby making it easier for them to manipulate the elections, because they feel like this election, this midterm election, will be brutal on the Republican Party. And so instead of going out and trying to gain votes and express their policies, create policies that are going to be beneficial to the people at large, that are trying to figure out ways to prevent people from voting, like the SAVE Act, or they're trying to manipulate the voting and figure out ways to suppress the vote and things of that nature. So there's a lot of things going up in our democracy that is being threatened, that I feel is most important to me, the threat on our democracy. Do we have any
Yes,
comments on that question, Mr.
yes,
Jackson?
we do. Thank you.
Okay.
And you're spot on about the democracy. It's a very scary situation, and I'm just continuing to pray that all will go in our favor, because the country is in an uproar and the country is very upset. We have a comment from Mr. Andrew Page. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining. He says that his program with the foster grandparents will end in June because of the
Oh,
presidential funding. I'm so sorry about that. Tiffany Williams says that her biggest concern is democracy, and Andrew Page says Homeland Security. So those are all the comments currently. Let's see, we may have a new one. Andrew Page says no one is fighting for our elderly. No one is fighting for anyone except for the rich,
themselves.
for the
Mm-hmm.
rich. And
For the rich. Mm-hmm.
right, it's very unfortunate that we saw where there was a big disruption to our SNAP benefits, elderly, and you know, I'm still concerned about the high cost of medication. So many people are on so many different types of medications, and they came out with some type of a statement about the pharmacy plans, and I have not seen anything. Thankfully, some of us have an opportunity to have good healthcare insurance and the ability to have good pharmacy plans. However, it's not across the board. We're still
Yes.
fighting for our elderly. They're trying to decide, are they going to eat or are they going to buy their medication?
Yeah.
Because they no longer can afford one or the other
Yeah.
because of the many cuts that have taken place. And it's just a lot of things that are happening so fast,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if we're not
And
paying attention,
and that
then
and that Mr. Jackson, I think, was the whole plan. And that is why they put out that Project 2025. They wanted to put out so much all at
yes,
once until it just overwhelmed everyone. And you look over here, there's a fire over here, then a fire pops over here, then your attention jumps over here, then it jumps over there. But I think now y'all tell me what you all think about this. And when you talk about healthcare, Mr. Jackson, I just want to say, please don't forget that they still have not reauthorized the Obamacare or the
right,
Affordable Care Act subsidies. So
right,
that is still in the line. You still have people who are paying uh, up to 100% more for their insurance than they were last year this time because of the fact that the Obamacare subsidies were allowed to lapse and they have not reinstated those subsidies. But anyway, I want to know, just for a question that I just want to throw out there. This is just to throw out that question. How large a part do you think the Epstein files is playing in all of the chaos that we're seeing, in the wars, in the um, immigration overreach, and the ICE tactics? How do you think that the Epstein files are playing a part in the current um state of affairs, the things, the choices that are being made by the executive branch, the fear of what is in the Epstein files coming out? Do you think that plays a part?
I
Do
love
you
that
think,
question.
yeah, do you think that that a lot of this stuff that's going on are a means of distraction to keep us from focusing on what is a horrific crime, pedophilia, in the largest degree by very rich and powerful men across this nation and across this world,
Well,
because we have all kinds of people out of the United States as an international pedophile ring.
well,
Um,
I'm of the opinion that the Epstein files is a major reason why there are so many distractions. And I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, past president, past whomever you are, if you have participated in pedophilia, trafficking, you need to be prosecuted. And I go back to some of the people that have been prosecuted for pedophilia, sex trafficking, prostitution, all of these initial crimes, they have been prosecuted and sent to jail. And what I don't understand is we are allowing all of this information to come out. And for the life of me, I don't understand why the United States will redact names, but the foreign countries will put it out there publicly, and they're taking action on it. And I'm not understanding why we could take the Bill Cosby's and the P. Diddy's and the R. Kelly's and put them and incarcerate them for some of the same things, but much worse behaviors than what we're seeing in the Epstein files. So it is a huge distraction to say, as you said, a fire over here and a fire over there, and to cause us to be distracted because it's some serious allegations, some very serious allegations. And while I was providing information, we've got several comments
Okay.
in the chat. Maria Menifee Davis, welcome aboard. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
happy belated birthday to you
Happy
as well.
belated birthday. Yes.
And Maria says absolutely. Minister Clark says yes. We've got a comment from Dr. Dunlap who says minimally. And then we have a comment from Tiffany Williams who says, I don't think it plays that big a part at this point because the base will not be moved no matter what. I think they are going page by page down Project 2025. And I agree with that.
Yeah, I
And
think that they are going down Project 2025, but I think some of this stuff is also a major distraction from the Epstein files because it's not about the base anymore. It's
right,
going beyond the base. When you see former Prince Andrew Andre investigation and some of the other big name people in Europe, and when you see prime ministers being arrested in other countries, um, they feel like it's just a matter of time before it gets to the powerful men here in the United States, including Donald Trump. And if the Democrats can take back at least one chamber of the Congress, either the House or the Senate, there will be some real public hearings, and it won't be about the base anymore. It's not about the base. It's about real criminal acts that have taken place against young girls, raping young girls, physically assaulting young girls as young as 12 and 13-year old. And so that has nothing to do with Donald Trump's base. That has to do with even the evangelicals at that point can't say, okay, when you come out and see that, okay, this person testified that this man raped me. Not only did he rape me, but he slapped me. This is a 13-year-old child that's making, was a 13-year-old child at that time, making these type of accusations. Yeah, that is
yep.
something that is a cover up that a lot is it's something that they'll do anything, absolutely anything to keep that from coming to light.
So Julia, we have Tiffany Williams and Dr. Dunlap who says perhaps minimally. I would love to hear your comments, see your comments when you say perhaps minimally. Tell me a little bit more about that as we continue to go on, and we can circle back and hear from each one of you if you don't mind. So, Tiffany and
Okay.
Dr. Dunlap, I would appreciate that. So, Tiffany says that I don't think they care about the survivors. They never have, disgustingly and unfortunately. I agree with that. But if at possible, give us your additional comments about when you say minimally.
I
Um,
don't think they care about the survivors either. It's not
right.
about the survivors. And what
No,
I'm
it's
saying
not.
is not about the survivors.
Mm-mm. It is not.
A molester, of course, he doesn't care about his victim or he wouldn't molest them. Okay.
That's good.
And so I've never said they care about the survivors. It's bigger than that. It's you're seeing that people who are in your position or who are in higher positions are being held accountable. It's all about accountability, and they don't want to be held accountable for anything. And so it is not, it's not even the act that they committed that they are ashamed of, because they feel like they have a right to treat people this way. However, it's the accountability factor that they're worried about, and they are will be held accountable if the Democrats get control of either chamber of the Congress, American Congress, in this midterm. But anyway, so let us just look at some of the things that are going on in the state of our union right now. And how do you think the current government is handling these things? Let's look at the economy and inflation first. How is the government handling the economy and inflation?
Okay, I am posting that.
And while we're looking at that, I think Tiffany responded
She
to
Tiffany
something.
says, yes, she did. Um, she says, when I say minimally, well, we got both responded. When I say minimally, I mean they won't hold them accountable. I don't believe so. Thank you for that. And
Mhm.
Dr. Dunlap says, people involved in such behavior are individuals with power and or money. There is a league that many of us cannot understand because of how, um, let's see, I'm sorry, um, that's alone. This is a league that many of us cannot understand because of how interwoven it is imperative to national and corporate. Wow, I see that corporate and national politics. Thank you so much for that. I, I still want a little bit more into not imperative. Thank you. Um, and he goes on to say, well, Tiffany goes on to say the government has their head in the sand about everything that affects regular people. And Dr. Dunlap says, um, which also is very interwoven into state and national politics. Um, you know, I think it is more than minimal. I just
Mhm.
that's why they're doing everything they can to cover up because it has caused many normal Americans to be very, very upset. It is absolutely a monstrosity that people can think because of their power. And yes, it is interwoven. We don't probably know just a 1% of what really happens in behind the doors with the people that are in power. But because you're in power does not mean that you can be a pedophile, you can molest children, you can traffic girls, you cannot do these things and get away with it. So I
Mhm.
wholeheartedly believe that it is a distraction to keep us from trying to um, see who is involved, and we have all these other serious issues going on
We do
with the
have all these
wars.
serious issues going on. And like the foreign wars, Jerry, I know
Yes,
Tiffany was saying that they're going page by page down Project 2025, but the foreign wars was not a
was not a
part
part of it.
of
No,
2025. Those foreign wars are definitely distractions.
right.
They were 100% against getting involved in anything outside of America. And so they wanted to be have America in a bubble. Those attacks on Venezuela, the attacks on the boats, and it's a distraction because they don't even have a justification. The justification for why they do it changes every day. So yeah, I think it is more than just a minimally impacted. And when you start looking at wars like with Iran, that has a major impact on us, our economy. It has a major impact on inflation. Gas prices, they're like, well, the gas prices may be impacted within 3 weeks. No, in 2 days, gas prices went sky high. They bombed Iran on a Saturday. That Monday, when I went to the gas pump, gas prices was sky high. Okay, and then the cost for the country, which is impacting inflation. What did they say? $1 billion a day for this war in Iran. We're having to use $300 million missiles to shoot down $20,000 drones. So you have not even prepared for that. And then I just love the way God brings things back around on you because they're not having to go to Ukraine to find effective ways to combat these drones that Iran is using, because these are the same drones that Russia is using against Ukraine, and Ukraine is effectively combating these drones and not having to spend $300 million a each time they try to take out of a drone. So we had, just turned our backs on Ukraine, and the Lord will make your enemy your footstool. So y'all remember that the United States, had turned their back on Ukraine, but now they're having to go to Ukraine and say, okay, show us how the missiles that you're making, and that are far less expensive than the stuff that we're using to try to take down these drones. But anyway, that's just a side note. I just like how God can do that. And we all need to be mindful of that when we're doing stuff. But anyway, go ahead, Mr. Jackson. Are there any comments?
Well,
Anybody
Tiffany,
have any comments about the economy and inflation, Mr. Jackson?
No, Tiffany Williams just said that the math ain't mathing. Absolutely. But I still want us to stay focused that regardless of the Epstein files, it's just a horrible situation that is affecting the United States and our leaders. And our leaders should be held to a certain level of accountability. You should be walking the straight and narrow. You should be doing things that are ethical. You should be doing things that's not egregious to your character or to nothing of the policies and protocols that we have. Um, America is supposed to be the land of the free and the brave, and we're supposed to be accepting of everyone. But for some reason, all of that has changed. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you got a little echo
Oh,
going there right now.
say
Now
that again for me.
I said you had an echo, but now you're good.
Oh, okay. I want us to really focus on, even though the question was, do we think the Epstein files is a distraction? Let's not forget, it is. It is. It's trying to throw our attention span away from all of the other monstrosities that's happening. And that within itself is preposterous. The Epstein files, I'll say it until I continue to say it, until I say it and say it. I don't care who you are. If you are part of that, you need to be held accountable, which means that we need to bring you before the judge and you need to be sentenced. You need to be whatever it is, but you need to be held accountable.
Yeah,
And
you do.
the gas prices. Let me say this
Okay,
and then I'm
so
going to give it back to you.
okay.
I had to get gas today and it was $3.99. Okay? Sky high, $3.99. But now you can take it, Julia.
Okay, but I want us to not get distracted by the Epstein files because we're talking about the whole State of the Union.
Abs-
So
Absolutely.
let's move on further. Um, I asked about the economy and inflation, and like you said, the gas prices are sky high. Grocery prices are still just as high. When it comes to job creation, we lost jobs last month. No job creation. When it comes to wages, they are basically still stagnant. The unemployment rate has increased, especially like Mr. Jackson said, for Black women. They have lost a lot of jobs. A lot of them are working with the federal government and lost jobs when Doge came in and did its thing. So the economy is being negatively impacted by um, this
Absolutely.
administration.
We've got another comment in the chat
Okay.
from Jasmine Hayes. Hey, Jasmine, welcome aboard. She says, in regard to your economy question, I don't see this so-called inflation. I see big business and their greed. Their need to squeeze the juice out of an already dry lemon. Love that comment.
Mm-hmm. And it is the greed that is causing the inflation, but then some of it also is, of course, the um, taxes, the what am I talking about? Import what the
Tariffs, the tariff.
tariffs are causing issues, and I know the Supreme Court struck down some of the tariffs, and then after that, Donald Trump went and put even more tariffs instead of taking that as an opportunity to say, okay, we'll back off tariffs because they're causing everything to increase, all the prices to increase, and that is being paid by the American consumer. Instead of him doing that, he said, okay, well, I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. So if I can't do it this way, then I'm going to do it that way. So he introduced even more tariffs, just changed the name of the tariffs and reinstated them. All right. So, how do you think this government is handling immigration and immigrants? Now, for me, I will say that is one of the most horrific things that this government has done. When you see how ICE is treating people and not, and I'd say, American citizens are being treated poorly, but to even treat illegal immigrants that way, when you're dragging people out of cars, when you're pulling women by their hair, when you're dragging people out of their apartments in ice and snow and they have nothing but their underwear on, when you're taking little kids and putting them in concentration camps, when you're um tear gassing school age kids, when you have babies at the bus stop and they see the ice van pull up and they take off running and they're just running all across everywhere, running from ice because they're afraid. These are little kids at the bus stop and they can't even stand at the bus stop and go to school in peace because ice chasing them and they're running all in the streets, and it is just atrocious, not to mention the people that are killed, that they have killed, and it's not just pretty and good. Those are just the two names that we know. They have killed others. They have shot. Young woman testified before Congress who they shot 5 times. She's an American citizen. They shot her 5 times. Tried to kill her. Then when the ambulance came and took her, she been shot 5 times, y'all. Ambulance came and took her to the hospital. They patched it, laid it up, and ICE took her that day out of the hospital. American citizen who had done nothing was in her car driving. She wasn't even stopped. She wasn't blocking anybody, anything. She was a Hispanic of Hispanic descent. So I guess maybe they thought she might have been illegal, but she had not done anything. They shot her 5 times. The lady who was trying to go to a doctor. She's disabled. She comes to a standstill because the streets are all blocked off and everything. They cut her out of her car, dragging her by her head, by her hair. She's face down. They put her in a detention center and she stayed in there for a couple of days. American citizen on her way to the doctor. She had some form of autism, but she also had a TBI, traumatic brain injury, and some other ailments. Um, so that to me is one of the most horrific things. You think you couldn't think these people that you're dealing with are humans if you're treating them this way. So how what do you guys think about the this our handling of immigration and immigrants?
Well, one of my major concerns is the detention centers.
Mhm.
There's lack of medical care at these detention centers when they're bringing in the detainees. The unsanitary conditions. There are reports where a gentleman that was autistic, had all kinds of medical issues and could not walk and had to crawl across the floor to get to the bathroom that was totally bombarded with feces, and he encountered feces as he tried to move around. The unsanitary
Mm,
conditions, in an
mm,
example like fungus from dirty showers, uncooked
mhm,
food,
mhm,
overdoses and mental health crisis,
mhm,
threats of punitive relocation when filing complaints. They're taking the detainees and putting them in countries where they are originally not from.
mhm,
And many lawsuits have described the inhumane activities, alleging that people are treated like dogs in cages.
mhm,
I don't
mhm.
care, even if they're in this country illegally, we
Right.
still have to treat them humane. It is against the law to do even a detainee or a prisoner to treat them inhumane.
Mhm.
So I'm terrorized by that, and I'm really concerned about that. We do have comment from Jasmine Hayes. She says, "I could write a book, but a nightmare in short. This is a nightmare to say the very least." And that's
Yes.
such
Yes.
a that I don't even know if that's a strong enough word. I have
And
tried.
yeah, and it's not just for the immigrants, like I said, the people like in Minneapolis, the
Yes,
whole city was
yes,
being terrorized. American citizens, those immigrants that were here legally, naturalized citizens, the ones that were here, the whole city was terrorized. And anytime you go into a situation with your face covered so your identity is shielded, no name badge, no number, nothing identifying you, you go into that situation with bad intentions because you don't want anyone to know who you are. You're trying to disguise your identity. You're going into a situation with bad intentions.
agree.
Hmm. So let's get to this one, Mr. Jackson, for sure. Democracy. What do you think about this government's handling of our democracy or democracy in general?
Okay.
I What do you think about how this government is handling democracy?
Well, Julia, define democracy for our people so that they can really understand um, what what is
They
democracy.
know what democracy is: your freedoms, your rights, your rights to vote, your rights to free speech, your rights, let's even say to bear arms, your rights to express your opinions, your rights.
Absolutely,
Your rights to live life. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and endowed by their creator to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Your
right.
life, liberty, and your pursuit of happiness.
Absolutely. So when I think of democracy, I think about how we, the people, can rule. We have the power to influence decisions directly or through our elected representatives, which in turn makes me think about free and fair elections.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that people can vote without fear. We
Mhm.
already have some laws in place, especially here in the state of Georgia, that you can no longer bring food or water to provide for the people that are standing in the long lines in the state of Georgia. And that's a huge disparity, especially in the certain communities, because there are typically long lines. And um, we want people that want to run for these elections to be able to be without unfair barriers. Um, you know, Democracy continues to protect my freedom of speech, my
Mhm.
freedom of religion, my freedom to assemble, the right to protest without being shot, and
Mhm.
equal protection under the law. And as we can see, those things are really being challenged because, you know, look at Don Lemon, who went into report of a
Mhm.
protest
Mhm.
and was arrested because he was allegedly participating in a protest. And
And,
the
and
according
yeah, go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
and
Mhm.
according to his role, he was reporting on it.
He
And
was
of course,
reporting.
it was struck
Mhm.
down in the courts. But there are so many things that, the rule of law, um, I, I'm just terrified about that because the rule of law says that everyone, even governmental officials, have to follow the law. Laws
Mhm.
apply
Nobody gonna break
equally
the
to
law. Mhm.
everybody, and
Mhm.
the courts are meant to be independent and fair.
Mhm.
And then there are the checks and balances. So,
Mhm.
I have a lot. Let me check I don't see any comments.
Okay, so let me
Minister
let
Clark
me.
says
Okay.
Minister Clark says that it's almost like that in Alabama. So
Prisons.
it, but go ahead,
But
Julia.
yeah, and let me say, when you're talking about freedom of speech and freedom of the press, let me say this too. This government is attempting to consolidate the press. And when I say that they are attempting to purchase or blackmail or however you want to do it, threaten all outlets, um, press outlets to make them carry their water or have a slant that is pro Republican or pro MAGA or whatever. We have seen CBS be purchased by a MAGA supporter. That same MAGA supporter has a part in TikTok. He has gotten a part in TikTok. He has now been what was it? Netflix was trying to purchase Warner Brothers, and now this man and Ellison, he has now Warner Brothers has accepted his bid and they own CNN. So if you got CNN News Media, you got CBS News Media, you have Fox News Media, you have ABC, even though they're not owned by Ellison, they were sued and then they fell in line with them with not reporting certain things on Donald Trump. And so you got state held media, and you have very few media outlets that are out there trying to report, especially the big media outlets out there trying to report um, things straight down the line, give you the facts, fair and um, equal reporting
Reporting.
of the news. You see the Wall Street Journal purchased by, what's the guy's name that owns Amazon. But anyway, and they have changed a lot of their things. They withdrew, of course, they withdrew their endorsement of Kamala Harris last year, or they didn't endorse anybody. And so you have all of this media consolidation, and that's a very dangerous thing. Because if the all you hear is one side of a story, then that's what you're going to believe. If that's all you hear, every news outlet you turn to, every channel you turn to is reporting that news in that way, then that's what you're going to hear. I mean, that's what you're going to believe. So that is a great threat to our democracy. And then when you talk about the voting, yes, of course, we have all these legislations. We have the SAVE Act, which we talked about last when we talked about the voting, that they're proposing, that they're trying to implement, which would disenfranchise women at a very high rate. You heard our vice president say he thought it was a better time when women were not allowed to vote. And so now we see the SAVE Act is trying to disenfranchise women voters by the requirements that it has. And we saw just in Texas this week when they had the election, and they had changed the voting polls and the places where people go and vote. And when a lot of people in Dallas County, which was a county that was strongly Jasmine Crockett, when they went to, they said, no, you can't vote here. This is not your place. It's changed. And then when they went to try to look up their voting place on the computer under the Secretary of State, it wasn't there. So these are the games that are being played with our democracy. But that just lets us know how important it is to make sure that we are playing a part in that democracy, that we're doing our part. I see there's some comments, Mr. Jackson, and then you can go ahead with the announcements because it's 7:58.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, welcome aboard, Henrietta. Thank you so much for joining Ms. Crittenton. She says, what an interesting segue from ICE to democracy. I think in this 250-year anniversary of the Constitution, the answer is simple. Democracy for who? Outstanding comments. So, been a great discussion. So please bear in mind the current announcements that we have. I've posted them in the chat, but I will go over them. Next Sunday, March 15th, we will have a discussion, Hope Beyond the Break, keeping your sanity when everything around you seems to be going crazy. Please continue to support and shop Juju for You, by Juju for You, for all of your crochet needs. Some wonderful, wonderful things that she's personally made, and she can even make whatever you want personal designs. Huddle, which is Hold Up the Light, and Let's Talk will have another voters restoration and registration event this Monday, March 9th, from 12 noon to 2 o'clock p.m. at the historical St. Luke AME Church in the basement at 1308 Auburn Street, Opelika. Please stop by if you have these situations. You want to check your voters registration status. We all should be doing that. You need to update your address so that you are in the correct precinct so there will be no issues when you go to the polls. You need to register to vote, or you were convicted of a felon and you have now lost your right to vote and want to see if you can have those rights restored. And we need to be reminded that the Alabama primary election will be May 19th, 2026. May 4 is the voter registration deadline, and May 12th is the last day to apply for an absentee ballot to be mailed in the state of Alabama elections. May 18th is the last day to hand deliver absentee ballots, and May 19th, absentee ballots returned by mail must be received by noon. For Georgia, the Georgia general primary election, nonpartisan election, is May 19, 2026. And the last day to register in the state of Georgia primary is April 20th, 2026. On March 14, 2026, Ward 1 Community Action and the Penn Servant Foundation will present Ballenstein Community Kite Day at 12 o'clock noon to 4 p.m. at the Covington Park, 213 Carver Avenue in Opelika. It's fun for the entire family. You'll be able to do kite flying, food and games, fellowship, family engagement activities, and community recognition. Prizes will be awarded for the highest flying kite and the most creative handcrafted kite. The event is free and open to the public. For more information, you may contact Tamika Penn, and her number is posted, or Dexter Hughley, and his number is posted as well. On March 28th, nationwide No Kings Rally. You can find a protest near you and get involved. Make your opinions known. We are a democracy and intend to maintain that democracy and are willing to fight to keep the democracy. On May 16th of this year, Nazareth Missionary Baptist Church will be hosting a prayer breakfast, and your own Juju and I will be the guest speakers. Stay tuned for more information. On Saturday, June 27th of this year, from 4 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, St. Luke will host the annual Juneteenth celebration. We are currently soliciting applications for vendors, sponsors, and entertainment. You can always contact Joyce Thomas Vinson, Pastor Monique Summers of St. Luke AME Church, Julia Ardeen Thomas, Althea Ashford, or me for more information. We really are excited about our Juneteenth celebration. If you are in the market for any Mary Kay products and you need a consultation, please do not hesitate to contact Joyce Thomas Vinson, better known as Duchess, on Facebook for all of your Mary Kay needs. And please don't forget to subscribe to Juju's Dollhouse, the YouTube channel, where you are able to keep up with everything going on with By Juju for You. You'll also be able to catch any editions of Let's Talk that you may have missed, and the link has been supplied in the chat. Those are all the announcements that I have. I turn it back over to you, Juju.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson, so much. Thank you guys for joining us. Mr. Jackson, I am so excited that we were able to get back together tonight. And so hopefully we'll do it again next week. Um, I also want to say a special thank you to everyone out there for all of the birthday love that you guys showed me on my birthday. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for your love and for your gift. I greatly appreciate it. I love you all, and you all made me an old lady feel real good on her birthday. So thank you so much. And I think that's about it. We'll see you guys next week. I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. I'm walking by faith. I'm inspiring hope, and I'm showing love all along the way. Until next time, I wish each of you much love and many blessings. Good night.